All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for episode number 10. It's hard to believe we've been doing this 10 weeks straight every Wednesday night here at Speed UTV. And we're inside the facility in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we are designing the new, or pretty much designed, the new Speed UTV. Every week we've showed you different progress, where we've been, how we've progressed, and we've closed in on engine, gearbox, chassis, suspension, shock absorbers, hubs, brakes, A-side body on all the bodies. So all that stuff is off to manufacturing. Tooling is being made, and we'll start manufacturing UTVs right around September. Simultaneously, we've been running a test program. Here in the next coming weeks, we'll start sharing with you our tests as we hit the desert of Arizona. We'll still do our Wednesday night shows at the same time, and we will show you guys what's going on and what we learn each day. We'll also take you inside engine dynos, transmission dynos, shock dynos, etc., throughout the rest of the progress as we head into vehicle launch in November. First and foremost, I want to say I'm totally blown away with the amount of interest in the Speed UTV. We have now sold over 1,030 cars direct to consumers, which I got to be honest, I didn't think we'd do 500 before November, and we're already at 1,030. So I appreciate the confidence that you have in Speed UTV and in my designs and experience over the last 30 years. Obviously, I was involved with the Polaris project and then the Arctic XX, so you guys kind of have an idea of what we're doing, but this time we don't have a corporate CEO that doesn't understand manufacturing or doesn't understand what it takes to build shock absorbers or engines or gearboxes, or has been to the Dakar Rally or the mud bogs or to the sand dunes and has experienced the experiences that I have in my last 35 years of motorsport. So one thing we're going to bring to you is pretty much everything we've learned will be built into the Speed UTV, and we've done everything in our ability to make the car the most reliable car that we can build for you guys. So I'll do episode 10. Again, I want to thank UTV Underground. They have been doing Sebastian has been doing an awesome job over there at UTV Underground, taking our Wednesday night shows, putting them into paper, and kind of making it a little bit easier for you guys to understand what we're doing and how we're doing it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Unfortunately, my Instagram's gonna step away just a little bit because we got this other camera system here. I want to thank all my friends from Mac Tools over the years. You know, you walk around the facility here and you look at all the tools and all the stuff that the guys from Mac hooked us up when we were in the NASCAR program, or Haas CNC when we were doing the NASCAR or IndyCar programs. It's really allowed us to build a big arsenal of tools, which has helped us design your Speed UTV. So thank you everybody that has helped us in the past. I did forget Lincoln Welders. You know, as you see, we have a lot of red around here, and we have red welders as well. The guys from Lincoln are big supporters, and I want to thank everybody that still supports us even in the UTV off-road stadium super truck side of the program. So thank you. All right, so today what we have here is this is the Diablo. We named this car the Diablo. It started out as the UTT. As we changed the theme, we started with Born in Baja. Well, we felt that if you're going to buy a Chevrolet Silverado, if you're going to have a Born in Baja program, we should have a Bandit, El Jefe for the four-seater, and a Diablo, obviously, for our two-seat UTT. So pretty excited about the names. We will have little spin-off names as well. We'll have the Baby Bandit eventually for a kid's vehicle, and we'll build a whole array of UTVs for the whole family. Here's two different chassis. As you see, this one has orange chassis. This would be more of what the RG edition would be with a orange roll cage. We'll get into wheels. People have asked about wheels the last few weeks. What are we doing for wheels? How do the wheels work? How do we get the offset where we want? And it really took designing our own wheel to be able to get the proper offset. So what we've done with the Unicorn, we've adapted into the Speed UTV, and I'm going to share that with you tonight. So we'll step a little deeper into the wheel side of things and show you what we did and why we're doing it. This is a white one. We're just playing with graphics and playing with plastics as we as we get closer to final with this vehicle. I know some people, they say, when you go to calls, I tune off. So we had the calls towards the front. I'll slide the calls towards the back, but I promise you, you're going to want to stick around for some information after the phone calls. I'll cut the call-in calls tonight down to 4 calls. I'll take 4 calls from callers. I'll try to get through them as fast as possible. But what it is, it's people like you that want to buy Speed UTV or have bought a Speed UTV asking questions, and an opportunity for them to get right to me and ask the question right in front of everybody else. So customers that have bought the car, stick around. You might like those calls because you're going to get information you will probably want to know about your vehicle that you've put a down payment on, a deposit on, and we'll answer those questions for you as well. So call-in number is the 704-949-1255, 704-949-1255. I'm not going to take calls for about another 5 minutes, so keep trying, and I will grab 4 calls. I'll make it fairly quick. I just want to roll through this presentation tonight and give you guys as much information as possible. So I want to get into, we've seen a big spike, obviously, we've seen a big spike on the sales, and want to let everybody understand what the pricing is. Rob Harris is in the background here giving me some sign language. He says I'm dancing too much, trying to get me to stand still so I stay inside the screen. But I got to walk around and think. If I get stuck in one spot, I feel like I'm not getting anything done. So we did offer up a discount for anybody that stepped up early and bought a Speed UTV. So I've had the question answered, what value do we have for buying a car early? Well, one thing we're going to do is we have told everybody for last month, June 1st, the price of the LE Speed UTV jumps up to $35,000. So the El Jefe 4-seat, only the 4-seat, because it's been out for the longest amount of time, will jump on June 1st to $35,000. Next question is, can I buy a $32,000 car? That answer is going to be yes. We're going to bring out the base model, $32,000 4-seat Speed UTV, still with 230 horsepower, 300 horsepower keys, but the key does not come on the base model. All right, that'll be an offered up item later. The LE and the RG come with the Speed keys. So you can order a base car. It'll have non-beadlock wheels. It'll have a plastic seats in it. It still will have the seat belts. One thing I felt for safety, we need to make sure we have a harness system in the car for everybody. So it'll be very similar, same transmission, same gearbox, same steering, just different graphic package, different seats, no roof. It still will have the seat belts, and it'll have non-beadlock wheels on 32-inch Speed tires. So just to talk about that, that ends on June 1st. We will continue to give a discount for anybody that buys the RG edition El Jefe. So El Jefe prices change on June 1st, and the MSRP is $37,000. So when this car gets released to the dealers in November, it's a $37,000 LE Speed UTV that comes with the carbon seats, it comes with the Speed shocks. All of them come with Speed shocks. Comes with beadlock wheels, 32-inch tall tires, roof, and seat belts. And you do get to design your custom graphics. And I think we got a custom graphic package in here. Maybe I didn't put it in the deck this week, but we do have custom graphics, and we are working on our configurator that will be up in the coming weeks, and you'll be able to link it straight to your profile, so you can go to your profile and start adding on your accessories and any other items. So stay tuned, keep tuning into speedutv.com, and you'll see daily updates the next few weeks. I'm going to jump over here to the El Jefe RG edition, $39,999. You can buy it today for $35,000. Come next week, there will be a jump on that. That will be a $37,000 car till November. We'll keep that on a discount for all you early buyers that buy direct through Speed UTV. We will keep that down. But when that hits the dealer market base, $39,999 will be the price of the El Jefe. I want to talk, Johnny Barber has a question, and his question is, I'm going to try to zoom in over here a little bit so I can look at you guys. Nah, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'll grab my iPad again, sorry. He had a question. Watched all the presentations videos for the third time. There's a few things he has not heard mentioned. Are the differentials lockers? But when the lockers aren't engaged, the differentials open, limited slip, or pause traction. I'll try to explain it the best way I can. I'm going to go back to a vehicle, and let's use this vehicle right here. As we're in two-wheel drive speed UTV, it has a spool in the rear ring and pinion. So it's a spool, so that means the two rear tires always drive. So if you turn it on the pavement, you hear the ar. That's because it's got a tires locked together. One's going forwards, one's going backwards to increase, decrease speed as you're turning. So it has a spool. It always will be a spool, no matter what you do with the locker levers. These are not switches, these are levers. We've talked about it in multiple presentations before, but it does have an open front diff. So when you go from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, you're actually a four-wheel drive with an open diff, which will allow the car to turn, maneuver. It's a limited slip still, and it's basically three-wheel drive, but it turns into four-wheel drive as the limited slip works. Then you can take it and shift it into posi lock, all four locked together as a spool in the front as well. That's what you use for rock crawling. Maybe if you're in the mud, you're potentially getting stuck, you might want to stick it into full four-wheel drive lock. That will do that for you. So you do have full posi lock, spool in the front, you have open diff in the front, and you always have a spool in the rear, and you can put it in two-wheel drive. Let's talk about how much abuse will the torque limiting clutch before it's rebuilt. If you throw a set of slicks on it and take it to the drag strip and increase the traction rear torque limiting clutch prematurely, it's a very, very interesting question. And yeah, I want to make sure everybody understands what we're building. We are building an upgrade Polaris Can-Am, probably next level UTV. I want to make it clear that this is not an indestructible race car. This is a UTV for people to go out and play with, have fun, enjoy. We have designed the torque limited clutches to work with the speed keys engaged. It's set up for about 300 horsepower, and the idea of the torque limiting clutch is not a clutch like everybody else is used to. This is a slipper clutch, so if you land on the gas and you spike it and slip it, obviously it's going to absorb the spike, which will keep you from breaking an axle shaft, a CV, a star, who knows what, a gear in your gearbox. It's allowed to slip. If you abuse this thing and you drive it like a complete animal, no different than if you drove your Polaris and Can-Am and never lifted in the air, you will eventually put an axle in the car. You'll be putting a torque slipper clutch inside your gearbox. We're doing this for the few mistakes that you might make by not driving it properly, maybe being overly aggressive, but this is not something that's just bulletproof and you can slip it all day long. Is it rebuildable? That answer is yes. Unfortunately, you're going to have to split the cases, so you will be getting into the case, you'll be slipping the case. Drive this thing with common sense. I mean, I think at the end of the day here, we're trying to build you the best car. But if you go in and you throw nitrous on it and you put slicks on it and take it to the drag strip and you think you're going to put launch control on it and the torque limiting clutch is just going to keep running all the time, you're wrong. Treat it with respect, no different than any other cars. You'll get a lot of use out of it. You have a lot of fun with this vehicle. You can also get in if you want, because everybody wants to modify everything for some reason. You can get in there and you'll be able to tighten up or put another shim in there and adjust your torque limiting clutch to raise it. But then at that point, you might break a CV, you might break an axle star, you might break a stub axle. Who knows what's going to happen? But what I can tell you right now is I'm designing this thing for 300 horsepower to give you the most reliable machine I can out there in the marketplace. I hope I answered that the right way. That's the truth. It's reality. You're still going to have to drive your car with respect. Questions? This is a good one. This is a really good one. With the suspension geometry and shock technology that's going into this side-by-side, how do you think the ride will compare to the trophy truck? I know that's a lot of questions in one question, but please do the best to answer. I promise I won't talk anymore, he says. The unicorn is impossible to beat out in the outright desert and performance. But if you're looking at miles per dollar ratio, the Speed UTV will deliver that. The unicorn, it costs us as much to take a unicorn out for a weekend as what a Speed UTV costs to buy. Actually, probably two of them. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands miles per dollar, the UTV will definitely win in that category. This year at the Parker 425 or at the Mint 400, I got to be honest, I had just as much fun in the UTV as I've had driving the trophy truck with a whole bunch less expense. So just want to point that out there. We're building you the best car we can. Dollar for dollar, the Speed UTV will tear the unicorn up. Wheels. Let's talk about wheels a little bit. I wanted to explain the wheels in a little different format where people can see. I wanted to make sure they understood it's a two-piece beadlock. This has never been done before in the off-road industry, and what we've done is we have incorporated the beadlock face into the wheel face. So this is something that we've applied for patent on. This has allowed us to zoom, to really get the kingpin inclination right on a 32-inch tall tire, still have good scrub radius, be able to put enough caster in the car, and try to hit that 77-inch number to the bulge of the tire. There's a cool little video that Rob Harris is putting up right now that will show you how it kind of comes together and comes apart, which I think is pretty neat. Looks like we're a little slow on our Wi-Fi stuff, or at least what I'm seeing. I know you guys are getting to see this on the other side. There's a little bit of delay, okay. All right, well, that's enough about the wheel. I just want to show you what it is, how it is. This is the same wheel that I designed for the trophy truck. The reason why I've been designing off-road wheels for years. You know, back in the day when I first came up with the 6-on 6.5-inch lug pattern, people looked at me like I had 3 eyes. Why would you do that? We've been using 5.5 forever. Well, I can tell you with the speeds of the trophy truck today, I need a bigger pattern than 6-on 6.5. So the trophy truck has moved up to a big 5 pattern with big 5/8 studs on it, and really have tried to disperse the load. One thing that has been able to allow us to do is make the lightest wheel in the off-road industry. So now we have the lightest wheel. You think about unsprung weight, it matters for unsprung weight, it matters for rotating mass. All the things that we're looking at for performance, we've optimized on the unicorn, and it wasn't something we just had to do on the unicorn, we needed to bring it over to the Speed UTV. And the reason for needing to bring it over to the Speed UTV is to be able to get the kingpin angle, to be able to get proper kingpin angle here, drop through, hit the center line of tire, have a flat face, but still have a beadlock. Every beadlock that we were putting on for a double X, it was moving the wheel out from, say, a 64-inch car. By the time we got done, it was a 67, 68-inch wide car because the beadlock wheels were not designed with the same hub-centric or hub placement. And we were getting a wider stance, which was also loading our stub axles more, messing up our scrub radius on steering, and not really allowing us to hit that proper kingpin inclination that the car was optimized around. So if you change your wheels and put beadlock on an XX, you are changing that geometry and you're making your spindle a little bit weaker because you're moving that load out by about 1.25 inches on each side. So there's the wheel. We're going to get into, this was a question, and I thought that this was a cool picture to bring up. This is a Diablo naked, sitting here in the screen. I don't know if you can zoom in and see that enough, but we got one sitting here, pretty stripped out. Oil tank is over here. We have a large race car style oil tank, very large to allow the bubbles to evaporate out. It has a couple stages in here, very similar to what we had to do with the stadium super trucks. One of the things we had to do with stadium super truck, a lot of people forget, is we jump about 200 feet, maybe 225 feet at some of these places. That's 2 to 3 seconds of vertical G loaded in, and we were actually starving the engine for oil in the air. So we brought a lot of the stadium super truck technology and we built it into the Speed UTV so that if you do air this thing out at Glamis, hopefully you don't run low on oil pressure at high R's and have problems with bearings. So everything that we've learned from all forms of motorsport, from the Indy car, the Unicorn, the Dakar Hummers, the Stadium Super Trucks. We brought it and placed it inside this car to try to give you guys the best car in the industry and make sure it takes a long time for the other manufacturers to catch up to us. Engine, obviously we've kept a really low plane here. We've optimized the temperatures of the engine. A lot of the cars have the turbo up here in front of the engine. We've actually flopped the turbo to the backside so that as air goes, we take the heat away from the engine, take the heat away from the drivers, take the heat away from the fuel tanks, do everything we can to get this heat towards the back of the car so that we don't have potential fires. Obviously, safety is a big concern for us. Fire falls into that safety, and we're going to build you the safest car that we know how to as well. If you look at your Can-Am and your Polaris real close, that turbo is nested down there behind the back seats. I don't know if that's a good idea, and one thing I want to do is make sure I design something different than what the competition is using today. Here is powder coat dip, and let's get into that question. Here's over at the factory where they're actually dipping the chassis. The frames are dipped, and it's called an E-coating, and then they are powder coated on top of the E-coating. So we are doing everything we can to keep corrosion out of your tubes, keep your material, either your 4130 or DOM or whatever that may be where we choose to put it. We want to keep that in its standard condition with the least amount of corrosion as possible. So as you see here, there's one guy powder coating one. So it does get what they call an E-coating and then a powder coating. So double coated on the chassis. This is one of my favorite ones. As we were working on turbos, and I wanted to give you a performance turbo built into the Speed UTV. I was working with Ken, and you know, the price was just a little bit higher than we could handle as a manufacturer. So, well, let me take the exhaust section, the shell out of it, and incorporate that straight into my header pipe. So what we've done is we have actually taken something very similar we did back in the IndyCar days, four bolt flange, very strong. It's got an oval shape. We roll that straight into the turbo shell. So this is a one-piece unit. One, it saves a lot of weight, not having to have 4 more studs. Also eliminates a potential leak with another gasket. And honestly, it just flows so much better down through here. So when people say, they start looking at the aftermarket and say, oh, well, do I need to make a header for this thing? Or what happens if I make a cool stainless pipe? You're probably losing performance, not gaining performance on what you can do on a proper casting. So no steps, no sharp edges, flow right into the turbo. We feel we can gain more power by linking these things two together. So this is another one of our tricks that we're using to give you the best product in the UTV industry. Phone calls, I'll take phone calls if we have any come in tonight. I haven't been paying attention to that. I'll move this over where I can see it a little bit more. Had a question, Tim Kelly had a question here. What number is displayed on the number plate? Is it the master number or the unit number? He had a question of how that is. So I thought it was very fitting that we would pull up to the vehicle number that we've sold, 1036. We've sold over 1,036 pre-sale direct-to-consumer cars. Your number will pop on right here, which will make it nice for me when I see you out of Glamis. I know if you were an early buy, a later buy, allow us to track your cars. Everybody else will see that as well as you build your Speed UTV. So the number plate will be there. The number plate will go on first. Then the rest of the graphics will start incorporating around it. So when we have our configurator up, the question is, well, why do I need a number on it? You're welcome to take that number plate sticker off. It'll be a really nice, very similar to what we have in Stadium Super Truck sticker there. You can take it off and put whatever number you want. But as the car rolls down the assembly line and then leaves the assembly line, we will be able to track that car and what accessories go on that car and what you guys have ordered on the Speed UTV website. So this is not only to help everybody out in the industry, but to help us as well. So if that answered the number question, the master number, when you order your car, will be on your car. So anybody that orders a car tonight, you are going to be a master number more than 1036. You're probably closer to 1041, 1042 right now. and your number will be placed on there. If you have a special request number, obviously every number is gone from here below, but anything more than this, if you wanted it, we could work on it and help you get a number that you might be interested in. All right, no calls tonight, unless you took the phone off the hook so they didn't come in. We talked last week a little bit about the UTT and basically a race-ready desert car will be our first race car. So the first race car we will build will be a race-ready desert car, and you will see this in the next few weeks on Speed UTV. Stay tuned for that. But we will offer up a turnkey race car. It says, please don't call Ginger and ask for an upgrade of a race car yet. Give us a little bit of time. We'll get it spelled out. Want to make sure that we have a couple cars built up and that we've got everything in place. But it will be a full-blown race car with a fuel cell. We'll have a carbon can. We'll have an aluminum can to choose from. There's going to be a lot of options to pre-order your race car. And then again, you can go out there and you can build your own race car as well. You don't have to build one from us. You can buy a UTT, take it to your local buddy that has a fab shop, build up a race car as you see. Race ready, I'll get into this. List of accessories plus everything on the RG edition that you would need to race for score or best in the desert. Fuel cell, carbon fiber body, the carbon bed. You don't have to have that. You can use the plastic ones. Added door bars, weld up your clamps. Aluminum roof skid, aluminum floor skid, firewall, window nets, Parker pumper, fire extinguisher, tool bag, impact gun, medical kit, safety equipment, 12-inch GPS if you don't run something different. You can pick your colors and you can get the suspension powder coated and the cage powder coated with race graphics personalized for your sponsor. The chassis will be certified for score, Best in the Desert, and King of the Hammers.
Some guys were asking shock colors.
Shock colors, orange. Orange and black. Orange and black. Springs are gray, like a charcoal gray on the springs, metallic silver gray, orange anodized, black anodized. So those are the shock colors. Once you buy your car, you're welcome to disassemble them, get them recoated if you choose. But the colors that are coming from the factory, as we build our cars, King has blue, we have orange. All right, so any other questions out there, Casey, that I can answer? I will take questions over the phone if they come in over the next few minutes. Obviously, this is going to be the shortest episode that we've done so far, but as we're getting through this, we're starting to dot our I's and cross our T's. Yep, phone number 704-949-1255. If you want to call in, call the shop number. I'll look for it flashing right here. I'll grab it. We will keep this this discounted price on the site. Only price that's changing right now is the 4-seat El Jefe, the LE edition. We're going to add the base model edition when that price changes, so you still will be able to buy a $32,000 4-seater. We will still keep a $32,000 4-seater on MSRP at dealer level. Hi, you got Robbie Gordon here. How you doing tonight?
Robbie, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Matt?
Motor break-in procedure. I know Polaris and Am had a 10-hour break-in procedure on the motor at, no more than 50% throttle. Is there a break-in procedure on these cars? And secondly, do you recommend running a 91 tune first before you jump up to the E85 tune? And are those procedures the same or different?
Yeah, so with regards to break-in, the question was, is there a break-in procedure with the Speed UTV? And what are those procedures? I would obviously recommend, first thing is breaking in your engine a little bit. We will probably put some built-in limiters into your ECU on a time delay that will allow us all to break these things in a little bit. So that will be connected directly to the ECU. And 91 tune, they're going to come with probably the best 91 tune to start with. And the E85 will be done through weight, right? Through fuel weight, Daniel. And it will not give you extra boost until it knows you have the weight. Hang on one second. I got another call coming in. Hey, you got Robbie Gordon here. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Hey.
Just wondering about the unit number, what the unit number represents.
Unit number is the unit number of the vehicle that you purchased. Alan, did you purchase a vehicle with us?
Purchased El Jefe.
You purchased an El Jefe. What the unit number is, what unit you're going to get in line when the assembly line runs. But your overall number, when you place your order, is your number that's on the side of the vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for being a customer with us. Appreciate it. Hey, you got Robbie Gordon here. How you doing tonight?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good.
Question. If
Yeah.
you upgrade to the RG, do you lose your spot in line if you were early on the pre-order?
Is your name Matt?
Yeah.
Matt had a great question tonight, and he said, hey, if I upgrade to the RG, do I lose my position in line? That answer is no. When you placed your order and you believed in Speed UTV to be part of our family, you've reserved your number at that point. Doesn't matter what it is, you will be kept in that same order, and you won't jump up or down when you upgrade.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hey, you got Robbie Gordon here. How you doing tonight?
Hi, doing great, Robbie. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for calling us.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, simple question tonight. My rig's going to live down in Baja full time. Want to run 35s on it. Are you going to be offering 35s at time of production, or is it going to be a little bit later down the road?
Right now, to be honest with you, we're producing the 32. It'll probably be about a 32.5 when it comes on the vehicle. The 35 for a speed tire will be down the road. We're going to be up against it to make sure that we get the first tire, one, reliable, and two, enough of them to deliver the amount of cars. We're looking at probably 20,000 tires already right on the very first run. So it's been impressive. The excitement is awesome. And your vehicle, which one did you buy?
El Jefe 784.
All right, El Jefe 784. Thank you for the order, and that's going to be an awesome Baja car. I mean, it's 77 inches wide. It'll be great even in San Felipe where the big bumps are.
Yeah, I'm close to that. So, okay, congrats. See
Thank
you down there.
Thank you very much. Look forward to riding with you.
Yeah.
Hi, Robbie Gordon here. Oh, lost him. I guess this is why I'm not allowed to answer phones here. We'll take one more call if it comes in. Like I said, we're towards the end of the night tonight. I'll watch for this to come in for a few more minutes. Any questions online? Yes, explaining to RG Edition and what it takes to upgrade. The RG Edition is on speedutv.com. When you go to the front page, there's some blocks. You can find out what comes with that. I'll tell you what comes with it. But when you go online and click the red button that says upgrade to RG, if it's a 4-seater, let's start with the 4-seater, you get 4 window nets. You get the 2 window nets for the front, you get the 2 window nets for the back. Those window nets alone, if you were to go outside the market, it's probably a $1,600 to $1,700 upgrade just there. You get a radio, you get the intercom, you get the suede seats front and rear, you get the suede seat covers that come with it, and you get a suede steering wheel. So there's a whole bunch of extras that do come with the RG, plus you got the radio and the intercom, which will allow you to communicate with your friends inside the car. Also, if you're riding together, one thing we have right now is we have a speed frequency. So we have our own speed frequency. So if you're out in the desert and you're riding with people, like when people go to PCI or Weatherman or Rugged's channel, we have a speed channel that we've been using for the last 3 years with the Textron XX, and that same speed channel, Speed 1 and Speed 2, will be installed in these radios, which will allow you to communicate with us out in Glamis, Baja, other places if we're on big rides together as groups. So that'll be something cool. And it's always fun to be able to communicate with the other cars around, plus be able to talk to the passengers inside the car with you. Hang on a second. Hey, caller, hang on one second. So you allow you to communicate with the other passenger inside the vehicle when you have a helmet on. And I suggest with this Speed UTV, please put a helmet on. This thing's going to be crazy fast. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And safety is the most important thing. How's it going today? Hello? Hello, Robbie Gordon here. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, this is Jeff Sowers from Lexington, North Carolina.
Excellent. How you doing, Jeff?
Good. I was really seriously considering, I hadn't put a deposit in yet, but I'm looking at the UTT,
Yes, sir.
and I was wondering if we do a lot of mountain and trail riding, a lot of mud, and I was just wondering if you're going to offer like a full fender that will come out to the edge of the tire or something to keep the mud off the windshield and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, okay, perfect. Great question. The fenders are out there a ways. There is a nice surface on top if you wanted to put mud deflectors on them. At full bump, as it gets all the way up with a 32-inch tall tire, it'd be right about the top of the fender. So you could put a mud deflector, and I'm sure the aftermarket accessory guys will be building all kinds of accessories for this vehicle. In the rear, it would be very easy. I'm zooming in. I don't know if you can see the picture here, but it's got a shelf right here. It'd be really easy to put like those Jeep flares on the vehicle if that was something you wanted to do. One thing about this vehicle is about where the wheel's at, it protects you pretty good. We have raced these things in the mud this year at the Parker 250. It did rain for us. We had some mud out there and some of these other places. And one thing about it, the car has, with a full body, is very different than a Polaris or Can-Am, and it does protect you from a lot of that mud.
okay, the next question, if I do a deposit now on a UTT, could I wait and get the one with the windows and the heat and air condition?
In North Carolina, it'd be pretty cool. Obviously, that is a summer 2021 vehicle. So, you know, if you're prepared to wait until about this time next year, right around June next year, then that would be the case. But, you know, you could put a windshield in this one like the Polaris and Can-Am guys are doing, or you can hang tight until we have our air-conditioned heated car that will work better for everybody that wants to ride in all types of weather, not only the snow and the mud, but the heat down in Baja. I can't wait, honestly, until I have an air-conditioned car, because I will take that 5-seat trophy truck pre-runner, and that thing will be left in the garage at home.
Oh yeah, because most time whenever it's really hot, normally I'm riding in the boat instead of side by side anyway. But heat is kind of mandatory. We ride West Virginia a lot, and I didn't know if it's going to be a big difference. I mean, is it going to run like a standard car air compressor, just a belt drive?
Yes.
Like alternator?
Yep, it'll be just like the alternator. It'll run over there next to the. Now, these cars have hydraulic power steering as well, so it's got a serpentine belt drive that drives the alternator. It has a big, about 110 amp alternator minimum, probably going to be more than 110. And at the same time, can also go off and drive the AC compressor as well. So it will have an AC compressor like a Chevrolet truck. I think that'd be the best way to say it.
What's the largest alternator that you're going to offer? Because I'm really into doing a lot of really large stereo, a lot of lights, and
Yep. No, I get it, and that's
1,000 Razor now, and it's maxed out to the max.
Yep. And is there an alternator on the Razor? You're on a Magneto, aren't you?
Still running Magneto.
Yep.
Just a miracle I hadn't burned it down yet, because I've got dual batteries with a battery isolator, and when I run my heat, I have to sacrifice some lights to run the heat or run the stereo. It's a matter of when you're idling around and you have to turn something on, because it's way past its limits.
Yep. Thank you for the question.
They built it just to the bare minimum to start with, and I really, really like the idea of having the alternator that way you can upgrade. And I'm really, really excited to get in one of your machines, because the Polaris, everything is as cheap as they can possibly make it. The bean counters, you know, you have to be a mechanic to own one because you have to work on it more than you get to ride. You know, having to replace wheel bearings continuously. I like the fact that, you know, all 4 spindles are the same. You know, I think one of the options you ought to offer is, you know, have a repair package where it comes with the extra spindle hub, control arm with the spare tire, you know, basically a whole setup for repair kit for people to not have to put it together themselves.
Yes.
In a tool,
Yeah.
and toolbox in the back.
Yes, sir. Well, that's one of the reasons we put the big bet in there. And if you do decide to pick a Speed UTV, when you go to checkout, you'll be able to add accessories. You'll be able to add spare tires. You'll be able to add a spare axle, a belt, whatever you think you might need. I'm going to do everything I can on the front side to try to make you the most reliable car in the industry. But thank you very much for your call tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, well, that one was a little long-winded, but he had some great questions. Obviously, he wants an air-conditioned car. He wants that alternator. Casey, can you help me with the alternator a little bit? 110 minimal, is that what it is, Daniel? 110 amp is where it's going to come with, and I believe that we should be able to get at least the same size alternator, at least to around a 160. So maybe more than that. Maybe we can go all the way to where we're at in the trophy truck at a 210. We're talking about 210 amps, but I would say conservative. We'll be able to fit a 160 amp alternator in the position on your Speed UTV. And it is belt driven, it is not run off the magneto. It was a great show tonight. Appreciate the call-ins, the questions, the tough questions as well. And like I said, we're building you guys a consumer, high-performance consumer UTV. We're not building you a Formula One car. We're not building you a unicorn. If that price will change, if you want one, obviously we can build it. We've been doing it for decades, but this right here is we're trying to build you the best, most reasonably priced vehicle that you can get in the market, and that's the Speed UTV. So thank you if you've already bought one. Looking forward to getting those delivered to you come late November, sometime around Thanksgiving weekend, and really looking forward to going riding with you guys. Have a good night.